Hey everybody, Ron Presley, editor of Catfish Now magazine here this morning, coming to you from the St. Johns River. We've got a nice morning. We got a couple of B&M poles out here in the front, some more out in the back, fishing with shrimp and chicken this morning. And really, I'm coming to you here while I'm waiting on a bite. I want to bring you a little tip, something that might help you with your future fishing trips. And it's the idea of using a logbook. Some of you do, some of you don't. I talked to a lot of anglers that do. It turns out that a lot of the really good anglers do use a logbook or a journal to keep track of some of the things that would help them the next time they go out fishing. In this day and age of electronics, I run across this little device here that's called a Cyberfishing rod device. And what it does, you can actually hook it on a rod. You could hook it on your rod, maybe in this position right here. It's just got some rubber bands that go around there and tighten it up. And of course, you've got an app on the phone. And what it does, believe it or not, it counts your casts. So every time you make a cast, this device counts it and keeps track of it. And when you get a catch, if you actually catch a fish, all you have to do is press this little button right here and it will record a catch. And at that same time, it's recording other data for you. So instead of having to write all this down yourself, you're going to be able to pick it up on your iPhone or your other phone, any smartphone. Let me get this thing up. I haven't got it up just yet. I'll just go in here to my app. It's called Cyberfishing. It comes up, and what you see when this comes up, you probably can't see this at all. I'll try to put it up there, but the sunlight and all, I'm not sure. But you see some maps there and the little tabs that say casts, catches, and markers. So if you were to run across a buoy marker, for example, you could mark that as well. Now, what you can do with the app, remember, it's going to count your casts. And to me, fishing for catfish, I don't really care about that cast count at all, but it will keep track of them. I can easily just leave that off the rod and leave it in the boat and count my cast or my catches with it. And then when I go into the app, I've got some in here. Let me just find one here and go to the kind of data that it keeps. I gotta pull these sunglasses down. Okay, so it's showing a cast here on Ron's rod. You could name as many rods as you wanted. You could use as many as you wanted, but again, to me, that's not as important. I've got a little picture of a fish, of a catch. Now I'm going to show you this again. I don't know, but that's just a nice catfish that was caught at some point in time. And then below it is a bunch of data that goes along with it. This data tells me it was a catfish. It was 20 inches long. It weighed 18 pounds. I caught it on spinning tackle and I released it. So all that data is going to be available. And of course, you have to add in the species, the length, how much it weighed, and so on. But it collects a lot of stuff for you too. Other things that this tells me is I was using a B&M Silver Cat Elite, just like this rod right here. You had a Team Catfish Gold Ring reel. I had 40-pound Power Pro on there. It has a place for a lure, but I wasn't using the lure, and it has a place for bait. And the bait I was using is chicken, and that happens to be what we're using here today. I remember this trip well. It was in Chattanooga, and you could even write down a note like Chattanooga in this app as well. Then I go on down to environmental conditions, and these are the conditions that it's picking up for you automatically. It's going to record the temperature. It was 79 degrees. There was a 65% chance of rain that day. The barometric pressure gives that. The wind was 4.5 miles an hour. It was out of the north-northwest. It was mostly cloudy. It actually gives a tidal flow at this point, and it also gives the moon phase also in there if you want to keep it. This particular day, I know that's hard to see on thing, but you could look at the app. It was a waning crescent moon, and the date was August 8th. 2018, so that's a couple of years ago. All of that data was recorded for you automatically when you punch that catch button. So it's all going to be available to you. It's pretty amazing. It also gives you the latitude, longitude. It gives you a GPS. So when you collect enough of this information, it'll actually start making maps for you, and you can sort and guide. You can look through different, you know, how many you caught when the wind was blowing at a certain amount, or so on. So just like any of the electronics today, and this is just one example, there's all kinds of these electronic logs on the market. But when you think about your ability to go back and maybe later look at some of this data that you've had in the past, you would know exactly what the conditions were when you made a particular catch. You can look and see what conditions produce numerous catches, and so your whole trip can be planned from this iPhone. One example of a fishing log, a lot of people have kept them for years with a pen and pencil, pen and pad. Now you can do it electronically on your iPhone. That's your B&M Tip of the Month.